when I see people in the agency groups looking to network and they don't have a single client yet, my first question is, why are you trying to network with other agencies?
If you're saying I need to network, you're already looking at it kind of the wrong way.
I don't engage with other agencies because I go in assuming other agencies don't know what they're talking about.
Depending on what you want to hear, listen to Jake or listen to Cody and just split this episode down the middle. I want to network in my niche, specifically with ways that will benefit me with acquisition. Can you just give me like a simple count on your fingers? How or where do I go about doing that?
One, it's usually a good idea to network with people who are your clients or are associating with your clients. What I want to do is I want to get in front of people who are also in that industry. Find out what kind of material that your clients are consuming. Podcasts have been just monumental for us.
You might be doing a lot of things on your computer that you think are business, and none of them actually are. I had to make a mental shift from being the guy who's clicking buttons and touching things on the computer and thinking that I'm doing business. All I knew was what you read online. But I was operating from the perspective of this is what the internet says, so this is what I'm supposed to do. And then after we partnered up, we actually start doing business. And it's a very real thing. And it's video calls and it's actual human interaction. It's not just typing. I think people get confused with that.
It's not as easy as just posting in the SMMA network group on Facebook and just being like, looking for other agency owners to network with. Bad idea.
Because all I'm saying is go touch grass, go meet real people. And they're saying, okay, Cody, that's great. How do I meet real people? There's a community of these people everywhere in every town. You have one in your town. People are different in person than they are on the internet. Asking people in real life, person to person, you'd be surprised at how many people are just honest with you about everything.
Trying to find a drink to sip on, and I didn't want to drink another Diet Sam's Cola today. But I just showed you this earlier today in our meeting, but I got this like non-alcoholic whiskey on this drink cart back here.
Yeah.
And like I've only taken sips of it, but I think I'm gonna actually have one while we talk.
Well, that's cool.
It doesn't taste like whiskey. It tastes like something's trying to be whiskey and it's failing at it. Yeah, it's like water. Like you taste it and it tastes like water. Let me taste it right now and see if you would like it.
You're like, no, definitely not.
It tastes like cinnamon water.
Cinnamon water. I like cinnamon.
So it smells a little like whiskey.
I don't know if we've ever said on the podcast that I'm teetotal. I don't know if that's like a known fact.
What's teetotal mean?
I don't drink.
I think we've said it a few times.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I don't
early
I just
on,
want people to know if like that's related to you drinking that right now, and that's why we have the conversation we're having.
And I drink a lot.
For both of us, right?
Yes, for both of us. It's great when Cody goes to Japan and he gets alcohol gifts and he just goes, Jake will love this.
It's everything. Every time that I get just, some sort of, you go through life and you get gifted alcohol at different times. And I just smile and say, thank you. And I look at Jenny and I say, yeah, Jake's going to really like this.
And he does. This wasn't even the cold open that I wanted to start with.
We got 3 minutes, so we can still do it. We're trying to keep it at 5.
Yeah,
right?
well, I wanted to hear you finally after months of me pressuring you, and after them actually partnering with us, you finally decided to subscribe to Aura.
Oh, I forgot that we were even gonna. Yeah. We should talk about that. I put it on my list. Back when you signed up, we went through the whole thing. We had them on. I did, to be honest, what I did is I did a lazy review, right? I got in there, I did like the short look around, and what I realized actually was just like, whoa, this is a lot more than I'm prepared to take on at this moment. So what I ended up doing is I just put it on the calendar and said, once the semester's over and I've got a second to breathe, I'm going to go back in here and actually do everything properly. So funny enough, between that fiasco and now, I've had two card issues being stolen, right? Identity
Yeah,
theft to some
yeah,
extent.
yeah. You had well, one I think one was a personal card, right?
Yeah, one was personal.
And then the other one was an actual Evergrow business
Yep.
card.
Yeah,
But it wasn't a lot. It was like $5, but it was enough to be like, this is
it
someone's
was
using it.
fishy.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean that just reinforced it. Uh, it's really cool. I feel better knowing I have it. I think the nicest thing to me that it does, I mean, I think it would depend on each person, but I like that it tells you which data breaches you've been a part of. So you know exactly what accounts to be concerned with.
Yeah, someone just had a data breach recently. I think you might have gotten flagged. I don't know if you were on it, but you might have gotten flagged too. Um, or maybe not. Oh no, Xfinity, you didn't. Xfinity, so
Yeah.
Comcast, my internet provider, they had a big data breach, and I just got alerted because I use Xfinity, so I have to. Well, I did change my Xfinity password, but I've also got to change my like local Wi-Fi password as well.
Because that leaked too. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I would
Just
assume.
assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I recommend it. I mean, we recommend it. We obviously do, but I'm saying it too this time around too. Having signed up, having gone through everything and done it properly, uh, it's worth it, right? And I think it was Jason, right? He said that he's big on home security too. I've been doing the home security system, so this whole thing has just been a life of updating security. And yeah, it's important that your digital is just as protected as your, if not more, than your physical stuff. Because with what we do, our entire life is done in the cloud, online, the internet, that sort of thing.
Didn't you say that you put Jenny's email in there and it lit up like a Christmas tree?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, like
I
you,
put
you
hers
put
in
it in
there.
there and it was like ding 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 ding. Ding.
I give her a heads up. I'm like, hey, all these accounts you should be a little worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can do uh basically what I told her was I'm gonna put your stuff to what I can without making it a two-person user, just so you get an idea of what this is capable of doing. And then if you like it, then we'll add you as a user too. But right now it's just the emails. At the same time, we did the don't mail list. There's three of them. There's like Valpak. Um, I can't remember. This is all just because of the new house purchase. Just getting us all off. It's ironic because we're in marketing and I want off every single list of contacting me. But I think that's a lot of people who end up in marketing where they realize, yeah, this stuff's great, but actually I prefer to be left alone with it. I don't use an
Yeah.
ad blocker though.
I don't use an ad blocker anymore. I use
Yeah.
Brave browser, which has one built in, but I usually have it off because there's a lot of software out there now that blocks ad blockers and like or prevents you from using a website with ad blockers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was like kind of like a sideways plug for our. I mean, I don't want to call them a sponsor, but a partner, Aura, which what like 20 some episodes ago, we had an episode where I talked about a hacker getting into my personal Facebook account and stealing over $30,000 of ad placements on my clients' accounts and basically shut our entire Facebook ad operation down.
You have the best timing
And
in the world. Yeah, it was a good
dude,
time.
yeah, so I during this whole period, I was like, well, I'm going to secure what I have. So I found Aura and partnered with them, and they're basically just like an online security. They even come with $1 million in identity theft protection. You put all of your information in, Aura monitors it on the dark web. They remove all of your information from data brokers and things like that. And if you've got a password associated to a company that has had a data leak in your Aura vault, then they'll alert you and say, hey, this password and username was leaked. And had I known that, I probably wouldn't have gotten my Facebook hacked because I do the lazy thing where like I have the same username or same email and then this like a variation of the same password for a lot of things that I used. Not anymore. But if like one random like stock photo website gets hacked and your email and password gets leaked, that's just ammunition for a hacker to take it over to Facebook and then try to get in that way. And if the password and username matches up, I mean they're in. So uh it was, now it's like Aura randomly generates all my passwords for me. I use biometrics to sign in through Aura, which then autofills my passwords in for everything else. It's just super awesome to also have Jason on and tell us more about that. But if you guys want to check it out, you want that 14-day free trial, head over to aura.com/everbros and you can get a 14-day free trial and 50% off in a yearly subscription. You can also do it monthly too. I don't know if you're going to get the 50% off, but you can at least do the 14-day free trial or run a free scan of your emails and your identity, see if anything's been leaked, and then change all your passwords if you want. So
It's worth it for that alone. I mean, I don't know if people have used, I think, what is it? Have I been pwned? That'll tell you if you've
mhm.
been leaked in data breaks. It's that in real
Jason,
time.
yeah, Jason mentioned that too. He's like,
Yeah.
there's even that, and that's a free one. I don't know if it's as extensive as Aura, but
Yeah.
it's in there.
It's that and you do nothing, right? It's nice. So if nothing else, do it for 14 days just to see what you've been leaked in.
Yeah. Well, it was cool networking with Jason, but on another note,
I see what you did there. That was really good.
I was like, "Come on, get out of this promotional ad, get to the podcast." Uh,
We're losing people.
uh, no, I've been having a lot more people actually like hit up my inbox on Facebook as I comment on things recently. I've been getting back into just communicating with other agency owners, and there's been a bit of more of a resurgence lately in like people actually trying to start a legitimate agency versus like just following the Imangaji and Andrew Tate bullshit. But which I appreciate. I really like guys who are, and girls who are trying to
See,
really
bros, we do that.
yeah, I know.
We're getting better. Look at us getting better.
Yeah. But I really appreciate everyone like trying to start doing a legitimate business, especially in the agency space, as we're so close to. But a question that comes up a lot is in relation to networking, which I think a lot of the Facebook groups that I'm in, where I'm kind of, trying to mentor as best as I possibly can. I mean, those are literally for networking. I mean, they're for two things, right? They're for networking and they're also for selling to other agency owners, or I guess white labeling your services in order to get like some kind of revenue coming in. And I was talking with someone recently. I'll give him a shout out. He's nowhere near this episode. He just started the podcast, but so in
Maybe you'll get bored, jump ahead and do the circle thing. Go back.
yeah, in 20 weeks when he finally catches up, Cuba, Cuba, not sure.
Okay.
But anyways, he's been talking to me, asking me questions, and one question he brought up that we really haven't answered on this podcast. We've kind of like talked about it a little bit here and there. I think it was like episode 11 or something where we talked about chasing relationships and not money. We mentioned it a little bit there, but this one I really want to talk about, which is networking. Who do you network with, and then how do you find those people to network with? And it's kind of a very broad question because when I see people in the agency groups looking to network and they don't have a single client yet, my first question is, why are you trying to network with other agencies? So,
Yeah, I hate the word. I hate the word networking. It's just that buzzword that people don't really know. If you're saying I need to network or that I need to go about networking, you're already looking at it kind of the wrong way, I think. And that what you're really trying to do is just make connections and relationships in varying degrees of how you know the person, how you want to know certain people for different things in your life, right? Whether that's you're looking for business partners, you're looking for like just more contractual deals, you just want to make friends, whatever it is. I calling it networking, I think doesn't help anybody or anything because the word itself just is a buzzword that puts the wrong image into people's head. But I remember you brought this up. Actually, you brought this up today. This is our first time. We talked about it earlier, but I really like this one too. But I think the first thing that popped into my mind was there's a a split when you just say networking. If you ask me this in a very broad sense, hey Cody, I want to network. I want to get better at networking. I'm going to say, okay, what for? What are you trying to do? Because I see it split down in two ways when it comes to business. You might be looking for new partnerships and acquisitions sort of thing. You want to grow your agency, you want to get more customers, more clients, and that sort of thing. And to be honest, if you ask me about that, all I'm going to say is go talk to Jake. I don't think, Jake, if I brought in a single client for us, just me by myself, I don't think so. Have I?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Um,
If
it's not my
anything,
strength.
if anything, your strength is like getting rid of clients.
I like that. Yeah. Uh, so to me, that's a different kind of networking, whatever you're doing with that. And I can't talk to it. Jake can. What I can speak to is more of the, if you want to grow your agency and focus on the growth aspect of it. I don't know if I'm positioning this correctly. If you need help with the operations portion, how are you scaling? How are you handling things internally, logistically, structurally, that sort of stuff? Uh, that's where I have, I guess you could call it network experience. But I think that there's a clear definition, there's a line between the two and how, uh, maybe not necessarily how you approach them, but how we can talk about them or how I'm able to talk about them. So, Jake, did you want to go after one first? Either I can do one or you can do the other, or what do you think?
Yeah, I can start with mine. I really like how you positioned this when we were talking about this before the episode started recording, which is there's two ways to think about it. There's, are you trying to grow your agency or get better at growing your agency?
I said
And
that.
yeah, you wrote that. It's in your notes.
I wrote that.
The second line.
Man, past me is always smarter than present me every
Dude,
single time.
dude, this is like the other day when you're like, you said something like, if you've already made a decision in your mind, just do it or something like that. What you quoted me from like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was once once you make your deciding once you make your decision, then you have to you be quick and decisive and swift about it, and don't second guess yourself. Don't be wishy washy. I can't remember the exact
I
wording
mean,
because it's happening in real time now, right?
yeah, that
But
sounds like me.
yeah,
Like that sounds like something I would do, but like the way you worded it to me, and I was like, I said that, and you're like, yeah. I'm like, this goes back to like your weird ability to remember every single line and quote in every book you've ever read, and I just can't do that. But yeah, your second note, first note says where and how to network, which is basically the title of this episode. Then your second note, are you trying to grow your agency or get better at growing your agency?
yeah. Good job,
And
past me. That's right. That's good.
so I'm going to cover the first one, which is, are you trying to grow your agency? So in networking, when I say, when it's a good idea to network, it's usually a good idea to network with people who are your clients or in that same pool or are associating with your clients. And by that, I don't mean network with other agencies who can then get you work. That to me is like leeching more than anything. Um, so I'm gonna put that aside for now. Let's just we're not gonna talk about leeching from other agencies or trying to get white label work or anything like that. We even have, I think we have an episode on like why we don't white label. Maybe we don't. Maybe it's in the pipeline.
I've
Um,
talked about it a little.
okay, brief summary. We don't white label because then you're not working for your agency, you're working for somebody else's. So we'll talk about that later. Uh, when I talk about networking, I'm really talking about finding people who are in your industry, who are in your niche. So we're going to use ours as an example. We're in the landscaping and lawn care industry. So what I want to do is I want to get in front of people who are also in that industry. A couple of examples I've mentioned before. This Scott Mulchan, he is the owner of the $1 Million Landscaper, which is a course and consulting and coaching program for landscapers on making that jump from that six-figure landscaper mark to that $1 million landscaping mark. He he currently owns $1 million plus landscaping company, And so now he helps teach other landscapers how to do that, and not just with like marketing, but with like systems and processes and how to quote jobs, you know, best way, you know, best suppliers to find in the industry. And he's really built a name for himself. He's got a podcast called The $1 Million Landscaper. And part of that networking was me just communicating with Scott and saying, hey, you know, I've got a really good podcast idea for your audience that'd be really good, and show like actual value to him and his audience, to get to the point where we're in his group, his Facebook group, which has like, I can't remember, like 15,000 members in it.
Yeah,
And
that's grown a lot.
us, along with like one or two other people, are allowed to really post, not necessarily be salesy. I guess we can. Carl's
We
salesy
just
all the
don't,
time.
but yeah,
Yeah.
we I guess we could if we wanted to.
I could go in there and promote my services if I wanted to. I don't. But if I wanted to, I can go in there and promote my services into the group, to the entire group. And he wouldn't bat an eye because he knows the value I've brought to not only his company, but all of his, you know, followers and coaching program consultants and things like that. And I've even recorded a 20 to 30 minute video, like how to calculate your target cost per acquisition for marketing efforts, which had no like sales push in it at all. That was literally just for his coaching program. And but that's one way of networking. Another way of networking is, there is I'm getting really specific with these details, so I'm hoping this provides some value. But there is a company called Deep Lawn, and Deep Lawn is a software. It's a lawn care software where you can embed a form on your lawn care website, and a customer can come and type in their address, and based on some of the settings that you built in the back end, it will automatically calculate the price for a particular lawn care treatment or mowing service or whatever for your address. And apparently it's incredibly accurate. We've had clients that have used software similar to this in the past that haven't been very accurate, but we've gotten kind of a swarm of clients who've been using this, and that's okay. If a client wants to use that, cool. But we have to be able to track that somehow. So we have an episode about like making sure you could track in KPIs. I think it's in one of the 60s. But we want to track that, because if people are filling that out and not the form, that's taking leads away from us, from what we're able to track and drive. So I reached out to Joel, who is the CEO of Deep Lawn, and somehow, I have no idea how, we were connected on LinkedIn. And it must be just because I was in a lawn care group and he connected with me. Again, a form of networking there. And so I reached out to Joel and was like, hey, man, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to track this with Google Analytics. I've got like 3 clients using this, and so we need to figure out how to do this. So Joel worked with me super quick, super easy. We just kind of kept in contact. I was like, yeah, these are the clients that I'm working with. Like, thanks for all this. And Joel ended up telling me like a couple weeks later that he actually referred someone over to us, just because I was reaching out to him and communicating with this. This was a priority of ours. We're an agency. We want to track things. And, you know, just by that way, he's put trust in us.
Shout out, Joel. Thanks, Joel.
Shout out, Joel. And Deep Lawn.
That's a cool name too, by the way.
Joel?
No, the Deep Lawn. It makes
Deep Lawn.
I use Deep L for translation sometimes, so I think it's a cool,
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Cool. It's a good domain name as well. Deeplawn.com.
Yeah, that's worth some money.
Yeah. So the third and final form of networking was we got into our franchise partnership with one of the bigger lawn care franchises in the States, which really propelled our business growth in 2023, at least in the first 2 quarters. But this was because we had not really networked, but we had treated one of our clients in Texas very well, who ended up joining that franchise. So he did a rebrand from his company and joined this franchise. And then he stayed with us through all of that, even merging his website over to the franchise, and where our SEO we were no longer capable of performing that because the corporate managed that. So we still ran as ads though, and then we were able to communicate with the franchise and get our tracking codes placed and do everything we needed to do, but in a professional manner. Eventually, after like a year and a half, he finally got us on a call with the franchise owner of all like 140 franchise
Yeah,
locations.
corporate.
Yeah, and that propelled an official relationship with that franchise. I mean, long story short, that's what happened, and that even led us to going out to Louisville, Kentucky in October and speaking at their franchise conference, which we're like, I believe we're the only vendor in that conference history to actually be able to go and speak there because they trust us, and that's a network we've built. This franchise also had the franchise owner, actually corporate owner, actually has a group too on Facebook, and in that group we get referenced all the time and referred all the time because those franchisees know us very well. Um, and so these are all examples of networking within my niche and our industry. I don't engage with other agencies because I go in assuming other agencies don't know what they're talking about. And I
This is the
think it's
dichotomy. People can
yeah,
just split it down the middle and be like, all right, first, if depending on what you want to hear, listen to Jake or listen to Cody, and just split this episode down the middle.
because I have such an innate apprehension to gurus and other like, quote unquote agency owners out there that aren't real agency owners. They don't have any real accolades or any real profit numbers, and they don't actually know like real business. They just like hear what they want to hear from agency coaches and gurus online, and they pretend that they've got this crazy awesome agency. But the minute you talk to them about P&Ls, their brain falls out their head. So I just immediately assume that most people don't know what they're talking about, and that the only person that actually holds the key to success is myself. And I've tested a lot of these things. This is kind of going on a little bit of a tangent, but I've tested a lot of these things that other agency owners try to like say works, like social, like Facebook ads, like certain ways that Facebook ads are run, or like I don't know. One of them was like spelling keywords wrong in Google Ads for like lower, like cheaper CPCs.
Yeah,
And I'm
that died
like,
a long time ago.
look, we've tested this stuff and it doesn't work. So if this is what's being spewed out there, I have no incentive to communicate with any other agency owner. I only want to communicate with people that are going to actually grow my business, which are going to be people in my niche. Cody's going to have a different approach to this because he actually does communicate with some agency owners, but they're not the same ones that I'm surrounded with. This is kind of like a weird thing though, because we're also doing this podcast in which I do have to actually network with agency owners because our target audience is agency owners. So I'm networking, but I'm networking for two different reasons. When I'm with Evergrow and my agency, I don't want to hear it from other agency owners. Um, Except for like episode 42 when we talked to Skylar. That was a really cool thing because Skylar's an actual agency owner. I trust him, and we have a very similar business model. So it's good to hear his perspective too. Plus, he's bigger than us in
Mhm.
revenue.
Yep.
Um, I'll say like one more thing, and then I'll shut up because I know you've been waiting for me to shut up.
No, I'm cool with it. I was actually going to ask you questions too.
Oh,
So,
I love questions. Okay, let me say. Hold on to that. Let me say one more thing. Um, I think there are like two agencies in our niche that I do kind of communicate with. So that'd be what Aiden and Tony.
no,
Um,
yeah, okay.
and like I don't ever communicate with one who is much bigger than us. I did talk to him at a convention or a landscaping expo in Louisville. It was a separate one. They both took place in the same area at the same time, but I went to both. But I connected with him. I talked to him a little bit about his agency, and he very much him and Aiden, the other agency owners in our niche, they're basically competitors. They really do subscribe to like the networking with other agencies, and I just don't. I just it doesn't get my rocks off. I'd rather just I'd rather network with just people in my niche. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox.
So, I, okay, explain like I'm five. I'm 5 years old. I want to network in my niche and specifically with ways that will benefit me with acquisition. So, if I want to get customers, and either customers directly or through software providers that are also related in the niche. Can you just give me like a simple count on your fingers? How or where do I go about doing that? So, like you mentioned, one is LinkedIn, something about LinkedIn. Can you give me
Yeah.
a dummy version?
Yeah. So I think put yourself in the mind of a landscaper who's trying to network with other landscapers. So it's like counterintuitive logic because I'm saying like don't network with people who are doing the same thing as you. Um, it, go to the groups and forums that they interact with. So for us, there's three different mediums. There's Facebook groups, there's LinkedIn groups, and there is an actual web forum called Lawn Site. That's separate from those. They're all essentially the same thing. They're all groups where people just with other landscapers just communicate with each other. They ask people how they bid certain jobs. They ask people what they're doing for marketing. And some of these are like I feel like these are better networking tips because no one's in direct competition with anyone. There's so many different areas. And then also landscaping is a trade. Like marketing isn't a trade. Like marketing is something that you did because you you didn't go to college or you're not using your degree.
Awesome. That's good.
So I guess landscaping is a similar thing too. But it requires like actual skill and using your hands and actually doing things. But um, a lot of them are actually providing good, useful feedback for first time landscapers and just businesses of all sizes there. And I'll go in and I'll just answer marketing questions, things that I'm knowledgeable and expert in expert in. And because I don't ever pitch myself, and I talk about this on the podcast all the time, but never ever pitch yourself unless somebody asks. Dude, this NA whiskey is making me burp. It's not even like carbonated, which is weird. But never, never pitch yourself. I say this all the time. Just be there to provide answers in detail, answers as much as you can. People will reach out to you if they want more information. But answer those questions. Eventually, you're going to engage with the community so much that you're going to know certain things about the industry that people don't. So I know very intimately about a lot of different landscaping and lawn care CRMs. There's Service Autopilot, there's Jobber, there's now Copilot, there's Arbor Gold, there's Service Titan. Like there's so many different options out there, and I know the ones that I recommend because I've worked with them now. I've worked with Jobber mostly, Service Autopilot, starting to work with Copilot.
Can I cut you off?
Yeah.
Okay. My monkey brain is confused here. I'm like, okay, yeah. So forums, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups. But when I hear networking, all you're saying is groups online. So how does and I'm asking this rhetorically because I've been on the other end and I know when it switches over and you say, hey, we got a call with this person, we're going to talk to them, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool, awesome. How does that get from one stage to the next? How do you go from, does it just develop naturally where you post comments or something and then people say, hey, let's hop on a call? What's the development of, just being, they're a LinkedIn connection and no, I've actually, we talk regularly sort of thing.
Everything is natural. Like there's never a time where like I meet somebody online and be like, hey, let's network. Let's save our other's information and pass leads on. Like that's weird. That's like begging for work or like, that's like saying I don't have any clients. I need help. And if you want to say that, that's fine. But I guess I would say that with a peer, maybe not somebody in your niche. But everything happens naturally. So when I provide my expert guidance on whether it's marketing or CRMs or whatever in any of these forums without pitching myself, I am in a way networking or making deposits like in a savings or an IRA, and then I get to withdraw the network when it reaches maturity basically. So now that my name is out there, people are now naturally and organically reaching out to me and saying this guy knows what he's talking about, I'm going to save his contact information. Or someone might be like, hey, I work for a CRM. I see you commented on this about your expertise in what you're looking for in a CRM. Um, can you work with me on, building out that feature that you said that you wish they had for marketing? And like very similar situations to that have come up. So let's
So
go
those
back to you.
places are just a starting point, right? And
Oh
then
yeah, I mean,
okay,
yeah. They're mostly just starting points to like get people to recognize you and reach out. And this is what I consider marketing. And maybe some people, or I'm sorry, networking. Maybe some people don't consider it that way. But um, okay, so that's just number one. You said use my hands and count like
yeah,
you're five.
yeah. I'm
Okay,
5 years old. Give me the fingers with the points.
yes. Number two is find out what kind of material that your clients are consuming. And so, and by consuming and material, I mean like, what are they reading? Are they reading certain blogs? Are they reading certain magazines? Are they listening to certain podcasts? Are they watching certain YouTube channels? And this is where I think the real networking, like what people consider networking, comes out. Because when you decide, if you go back and listen to, I can't think of the like episodes in our 40s, I think, where we talk about how to get in certain magazines. um, Networking is literally reaching out to those magazines and pitching them ideas on things that you can publish. Because now with Turf Magazine, I don't have to do any legwork. When we publish like 3 articles in Turf Magazine now, I can just like go to my contact there and just be like, hey, get another article. This is what I want to do. And boom, we're in Turf Magazine. Super easy. That's a network connection. I've got a network connection with Turf Magazine. If I have a client who wants to write something um, to establish authority for their website, I could probably very easily get them in Turf Magazine just by reaching out to my contact there. And that goes across all the magazines we've been in. Like I always got to look, but Lawn and Landscape, Green Industry Pros, Your Landscape Management, Turf Magazine, Synced. We were just in Synced recently.
Yeah.
The other thing is podcasts. Podcasts have been just monumental for us in networking with those people. So Million Dollar Landscaper, Lone Star Lawn Talk, Landscape Marketing Secrets. What was the other one? Lawn Care Leaders. So what's that
I've lost
for?
track. I like the
Yeah,
podcast though. It's fun and it feels real, right? Because you're
yeah,
actually sitting there talking to a person, you see each other's face, and you have a real human to human interaction.
yeah. So, I mean, so that's marketing in itself because when we talk to those people, like one, we've got their contact. We're on a podcast with them, and if they usually offer something else as well. So, like Scott has his podcast for Million Dollar Landscaper. He also offers his courses. We have expertise in marketing. He doesn't. Digital marketing. He probably has expertise in marketing that we don't have, like postcards and things like that. But um, uh, he lean on us for our expertise. I refer people to him all the time and just being like, hey, you're too small to work with us, but I recommend listen to the content that Scott has and maybe that'll help you grow. The final one is just like YouTube channels. Who are some of the content creators in the space? Can you reach out to them the same way that you might reach out to someone who does a podcast or, a magazine? Can you, um, find their email and reach out to them and connect with them? Um, Final way, I think, what is this, like three now? Three or four? I don't remember. I lost
I
track.
haven't been using my fingers.
Three. The final way is go to like physical events. So if you're just doing like local, like SEO for just your area, which is a niche in itself. So even if you're not specialized in, a certain industry, your industry or your niche could be your, immediate geographic region. And like joining local chambers of commerce and doing like local events and just networking with local businesses, that's a really good way to actually network and get your name out there. Again, not asking for clients, just being a resource out there for them. For me and Cody, it's going to these conventions and conferences all over the US for landscapers and lawn care providers. And some of these people that are there I've met or I've met online in these groups. I've talked to them. And I posted something on Lawn Site that got a lot of traction. It was like literally, who's going to equip in Louisville? And then like a
Mhm.
bunch of people commented, and I met up with some people in real life, and that was a really fun networking experience. So, um, but yeah, that I mean, that I think that covers pretty much all the ways that I network.
This makes sense when you frame it from the perspective of getting more business as networking. And it's the complete opposite of everything I know and everything that I thought of when I heard this.
I think that there's like a difference between like I think people get like sales confused with networking. Like what's the delineation between sales and networking? And I think like sales is when somebody's interested in what you have or you're trying to get somebody interested in what you have, but networking is like when you're not even trying to get somebody interested, you're just trying to meet people and you know without intention of turning them into a client. And which is a very hard thing for I think for a lot of business owners to separate is
Sure,
like
especially early on.
yeah, I mean you got to see people and not as like, you know, ATMs.
Yeah, this is it's wild to think about this from that perspective because that's not what I know at all or anything that I thought of. Um, yeah, it's so different. When I think of networking,
I'm digging this NA whiskey now. It's starting to grow on me. I think I have a drinking problem.
um, yeah, when I think of networking, and I think the only thing that worries me about all the things that you said is if people listen to that and have no, I was going to say, I'll just say it, and have no business skills, right? I mean, honestly, if you have
What's a business skill?
knowing how to run a business, do you know how to, yeah, do you have a business? Have you set up a business? Um, are you protected legally in the ways that you need to be?
All right.
Are your books right? Do you have your books clean as they need to be?
And we'll talk about
Uh,
this in another episode too, but also like do you have an appropriate hourly rate?
yeah,
Like
it's just the
like
operations.
like I mean,
Do you
yeah,
have a
I mean
functional operation?
as soon as says like, you know, I spend 20 hours a month on a client and they pay me $500 a week. I'm like, so you don't know how to run a business. It's not even a greedy thing. That's just like
Yeah,
logistically, so no one in your business can make more than $20 an hour.
yeah, yeah. I think that those are two different things and two different problems in a business, and I think that they're equally important. And so is the networking involved with them. That's why we're partners, and that's why we kind of split things the way that we do. Um, if you need to network because if you don't have an acquisition problem, you have an operations problem, which can be many different things. But if you don't even know what that is, then networking is a good way to figure that out. But what people in this space, I guess, and again, I've said this before, I don't hang out with this anymore. I really don't want to. I don't know the gurus. I don't know the groups. I don't care. I used to be a lot more interested and a lot more involved. And at this point, I mean, like literally 10 years ago, where Nikki Cakes was explaining how to get paid affiliate campaigns to be successful.
I don't even know
Uh,
who that is.
you know,
My first guru experience was Ty Lopez,
yeah, yeah, that was
which
late.
is like way later.
Yeah, I think that was
Mhm.
the very end for me. Um,
There are people now who like aren't even familiar with Ty Lopez's like guru stuff. That makes me feel old.
yeah, yeah. So people, if this is networking to them, being in the Facebook groups to meet other agency owners, and honestly, if they do all the things that you said to meet other agency owners, I'm actually more concerned because I think that you might be missing something and that you might be doing a lot of things on your computer that you think are business and none of them actually are. Right.
Mm.
You're
Hmm.
clicking a lot of buttons, you're building a lot of things. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you don't have dollar signs moving because you
I,
don't actually know what you're doing from an
I
operational perspective.
I think the hope is that like they'll network with somebody in one of these groups and that person be like, yeah, I'll take you under my wing and refer clients to you or like, you know, give you a cut of, you know, whatever.
Yeah. And maybe, right? I'm not going to say that doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
I think the odds are very low. I didn't write bullets. I don't have the fingers. It's funny. I was asking Jake for that, but I didn't do it myself. Um, my number one point, though, more than anything, is go touch grass. Right. And if you don't know what I mean, shut the computer down and go meet people in person. And they don't have to be agency owners. If you have operational problems, I mean, that's going to be helpful, and that's you should as close as you can get to that.
But
But
so
there's
this
also
is like
internet.
this is like the delineation too of like where I was talking and now you're talking. So I I don't know if you covered this, but or if you mentioned this, but I wanted to make the clear separation of the topic change,
I
which
didn't.
is
I should have done like a
yeah.
thing.
So I was talking about networking with people to grow your agency. Cody is now switching over to talk about networking with people to get better at growing your agency.
Yeah.
So people who aren't going to be your clients.
Yeah. Uh, peers or mentors. And then in your, it's not even industry. It can be industry, but it doesn't have to be. Um, but yeah. So go touch grass. What I mean is go meet people in person. There's an element to that that can't be replaced. And I know, especially post COVID, that people are trying very hard and we figured out ways. But I think the reality is, it's if you want to develop a connection in a relationship, a strong one, especially around the operations of how you can help each other operationally grow. I think that's an in person thing, right? We had our lawyer tell us that we continue to meet up in person once a month. Um, so we run this business like that, but uh, I had to make a mental shift too earlier on from being the guy who's clicking buttons and touching things on the computer and thinking that I'm doing business. And then after we partnered up, we actually start doing business, and it's a very real thing, and it's video calls, and it's actual human to human interaction. It's not just typing, and that's, I think people get confused with that. So um, people are different in person than they are on the internet. And I've said that before about the people that we've interviewed, even, right? It's funny. Some of them have online personas that are completely different from when you talk to them in real life. And usually, I swear, 9 times out of 10, they're all playing a character or an act because they know it. Now, Andrew Tate, that's the guy, right? He might
Yeah.
be 100% true. He might be actually who he is. I don't know. Um, I'm sure that there are some people like that out there. 9 times out of 10, the people that I know are doing things that are intentionally outrageous to get attention online. When we talk to people in person, everybody's nice and kind and good. I don't think that we've met somebody who was actually a jerk and has an online jerk persona.
I think because we talk to real people. I think if we talk to like people who are pretending to be bigger than they are, pretending to be agency owners, or but really what they're doing is just scamming people with their courses, then I think they would probably reflect the same personality
Yeah,
in person that they do online.
no, that's true. We just don't talk to those people. And I just say straight up, I don't want to talk to them.
We get them all the time that to inquire to the podcast of like being on it, and we're just like, nope.
Yeah, no,
Like,
thank you.
like every time we get that, I'm just like, do you even listen to the podcast? You would be clowned on.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to make
Uh,
him sign an agreement saying like, you will not sue us for publishing this.
yeah, in my brain there, I just thought about dunking or not, and I decided not to. So I'll keep going. I got a story with this earlier on. It's about Dave. We've mentioned Dave before. Dave is a
Dave.
mysterious, awesome, brilliant man. Um, Dave was a mentor to me. Still would be if I had questions. We just haven't talked much lately. And early on, when I was first getting into this, I was into the affiliate world, and all I knew was what you read online. And if that's real life to you, that's what you know, then it's don't tell anybody your niche. Do your research, but be secretive about the sites that you actually own and that sort of thing. Uh, I started getting into this, and I talked to Dave in real life, where we saw each other in person every single day. And I remember I won a domain in an auction, And I told him I did it. And he kind of laughed because I didn't want to tell him what it was before in case, because again, I was being internet Cody. I don't actually know anything about real life.
He's gonna steal it.
Yeah. I thought he was going to steal it. So I get done afterwards and he's like, hey, you can tell me now. You can tell me what it was. I'm not going to steal it. And I just, that part by itself is funny because I'm sure that there are those people in real life too. You'll get a feel of who those people are in real life and you'll know that. But I was operating from the perspective of, yeah, no, this is what the internet says, so this is what I'm supposed to do. And there wasn't a downside to it other than it's just a funny story. And looking back, he wouldn't have done that. And as I got to know Dave better and I actually started making money with affiliate marketing and I had more questions, and David also, he'd been an affiliate in the past too. He said, if you want to get better at this and grow this sort of thing, that asking people in real life, person to person, you'd be surprised at how many people are just honest with you about everything. If you have questions, that they'll tell you very truthfully and they don't hide things like they make it seem on the internet. There's a difference there and to that. And I feel the same. If I met somebody in person and saw that they were very serious, that's another thing is just meeting in person. You have a qualifier. If I meet you in person, I know how serious you are about business. I can get a gauge on it. And if not, I can do micro tests to determine how committed you are along the way if we're going to talk more than one time, sort of thing. Uh, it's real. It's more raw, and because of that, people are more willing to be honest and truthful and that sort of thing. It's very easy to scam somebody that you've never met online or say bad things or whatever it is that you want to do. It's a lot harder when I've got actually so many times in this one. I got to stop. Whew, too many actuallys. When you've sat down with them and had real conversations and been at the bar together or whatever it is that you do. So this doesn't help people yet because all I'm saying is go touch grass, go meet real people. And they're saying, okay, Cody, that's great. How do I meet real people? Or where do I find the right ones? Or if it doesn't matter if they're an agency owner, then what am I looking for? I'll say, I'll speak for my own, and then I'll say where I met those people. Two were former bosses that I look up to as mentors, and I still bug them questions as I need to. One is referral from one of them who, his name's Sean. I like to bug him too from time to time with questions, and this is more of a mentor thing, but they kind of came about the same way. And the last one, I went to Sean's fireside chat. That's what they called it. It was the cups thing, right? The 1 million
Oh
cups, the
yeah,
however
yeah.
many
You
cups.
talked about this in a previous episode.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of a micro tipping point of sorts.
So there's an event in like every city or something like that called like 1 million cups.
Yeah, I think. I don't know where all they operate, but I was just going to say, fine. It doesn't matter what it's called. What you need to look for is your local co-working space, your local, business incubator. They have different words, but if you search for co-working space, look on Meetup, look on Google. It doesn't matter. Find out there's a community of these people everywhere in every town. You have one in your town. Unless you're a super tiny town, you might have to go to the nearest bigger town, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're there. And those are the people that you want to meet and network with and get to know, because
I'm not there.
that was my point. I don't go to those. I have in the past gone to them, but I know the people that go to them. And if there's somebody that I should know or somebody that should know me, we're going to get connected. Somebody's going to hook us up through that chain of that network, right? So it's still worth it to go to those, even if you're not a person who goes to those. Or it's easy now to not go to those for us because we don't have a problem, right? We're not looking for a solution to something. And networking is uh it can creep up as a problem that you don't realize, right? I think a lot of, especially guys, you get to your early or mid 30s and you realize that you have completely failed and neglected all of your relationships in your life, and you're now alone and you need to figure out how to meet people and make friends again. um and then that's networking, and that's a surprise thing. But
You're 30 years old. You don't have any friends. You're single. Life sucks. There's some 30-year-old single guy listening to this and being like, "Damn, man."
like, man, shots fired. Hey, it's fine. Just
And
go
now you're
to
looking at
find your
starting an agency and going into marketing.
find your local co-working space. It's going to be fine.
You
Uh,
know,
yeah, no,
I'm
but
making fun of it, but that's, that's us. With that
yeah,
not
there's no
being not,
shame.
yeah, not being single, but yeah, that's us.
There's no shame. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a lot of people listening to this, and we're not in trying to hurt you. We're accidentally hurting you.
I'm trying to relate to you. Cody and I can count the number of friends that we have on one hand combined,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we're one of them.
yeah. I like them a lot, but there's not many. So, but yeah, go to your find your local incubator, find your local meetup, and then find the people that are closest to you. And I was gonna say, actually say the opposite of what you said, where Jake, you said, like, don't say I'm stupid, I know nothing, I need help. I would say exactly that in those situations where
Oh,
you're networking like more peer to peer within
yeah,
like
I'm not
growing a
saying.
business.
No, I that's fine. I said unless you're like it's a peer. I don't say that to like networking in your niche.
Mm.
Like don't go to like a landscaping coach and be like, I'm stupid, I can't find landscaping clients. Like that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
But it's okay to like say that to like peers who, are likely there to help you grow as like kind of, from a distance.
Yeah, I think there's enough crossover too with online business. If you just need help with the operations portion, that if you are very fresh, that you can just meet people doing internet business, period. It doesn't matter. They can do e-commerce. They can be a consultant of some sort, and they just meet online. Just the very basics, because the fundamentals of business are the same. Later on, once you hit, I don't know, you decide the number. Once you have more than enough to leave your job, then it would be more important to start meeting with people more specified um, within specifically marketing agencies, because they're going to have more unique uh, information that's
And
very applicable in your case.
there's a lot of things that like you don't need to be in the same business. Like you could network with a like if you're let's say like you do marketing for restaurants, you could meet with like a local landscaper at your local chamber of commerce and just be like, hey, I am. Do you have someone I can talk to about establishing an LLC, like a lawyer in the area, or an accountant? Like these are all network connections that you can make. Even just about the business aspect of it. Um, in terms of like we're going over time, but I wanted to bring this up too because you can make meaningful connections in the agency space, like connecting with other agencies, and we've done it. We made connections with Skylar from episode 42,
Yep.
actual legitimate agency. They're just hard to come by. It's not as easy as just posting in the SMMA network group on Facebook and just being like looking for other agency owners to network with. Bad idea. They're all trying to sell you something, or they're charlatans.
I just don't even
Um,
understand what that means too. You say, "Hey, I'm looking to network." What
yeah,
are you just
I don't
saying? You want
know.
to hang out?
Did you
Just
need
say
friends?
that.
I yeah,
Like, we'll do a virtual hangout, and you have coffee, and I have water or whatever, and we'll just shoot the shit, I guess. But just say that then. That's
you
less
talked
weird.
about two previous bosses that you had, and then one was a referral from those bosses. So
Yeah.
there's one of them that you talked to is a previous owner of a company that you used to work for, and you've reached out to him multiple times. One because he owns a really large agency now, but when you guys first started, you were really small,
Mhm.
and you had reached out to him about working with franchises
Yeah.
because
That was a big one.
so a big thing that I referenced earlier was we networked with the franchise, we started working with the franchise, so we've never done this before. So naturally, Cody reaches out to his old boss who has worked with franchises and just said, hey, how do we structure this? Like, what is the best way to structure it? I don't know if it was like just operationally or payment wise or like ad account wise.
Yeah, I was there when they went through a very similar thing, but I was looking at it from a different perspective. So I just asked him, "Can you repeat it back from your perspective?" Because I'm looking at that now and I want to make similar decisions to how you made them because it seemed to go very well. And I liked there's a lot of stuff that I ask him because I like and respect how he's chosen to do and grow things.
There are different ways that some of those relationships are handled too, and everything is situational. So when you get advice from a peer like that, you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt, because I don't know how things work with Skylar, because Skylar has franchises as well under his agency. But I don't know, some franchises, the way they work is that they give a marketing budget, or they handle all of the marketing for their franchisees if it's digital. If that's the case, there's one centralized location where the marketing budget comes from, in which case you handle that completely differently than how we handle our franchise agreement, which is all the franchisees get to choose whether or not they want to work with us individually, and they all have separate invoices and separate billing accounts and everything like that. So, and separate ad accounts. So, um, when you ask, Mark, when you ask him, like, how'd you deal with this?
Mm,
It's going to be probably a lot differently than if we went to Skylar and be like, how do you handle your franchisees?
yeah.
Um, so just keep that in mind. And when you talk to somebody, you're not looking for validation, you're looking for perspective.
That's good. Yeah, definitely. I think anytime opinions are, my opinion on opinions. Opinions are,
They're like assholes. Everyone has one. Some of them stink.
yeah,
Most of them stink.
you are the ultimate determiner of whether or not something will or will not work for you. So listening to somebody's opinion and something that may work for them might not work for you. Just because it did work for them doesn't mean that if you replicate it in the same way, that all the other variables are the same, or that even that it's the right way for you to do it because you're a different person.
You need a
So
different business model. In fact, it probably won't work for you if you try to replicate. If you try to replicate everything one for one that you get from somebody else, it's probably not going to work. And not just because like you're a different person, but because your business model is different. And then
yeah.
you being different multiplied by a different business model with different services, that just all comes together to create a totally different output than what's probably going to happen if you just copy it.
Mhm.
So is that all you had?
Yeah, I think so. We can call it good.
Yeah, that's some good content. But
Yeah, I hope
uh,
people like it.
yeah, well, and everybody, if you got any questions about networking, it probably wasn't the answers you were looking for. But I mean, this is how we network, which is very little. I think our networking is very little. I think if we were like another agency, would have been like, oh, join this 7-figure marketing agency initiative, and pay $500 a month and network with other agencies. Like, I'm sure if we were one of those, we'd probably have that pitch at the end, but we don't, because we don't
That's a
network
different thing too, though,
like
right?
that.
That's you have business development as a category where people hire those people and networking is their job. That's it. Be a professional networker. Um, that's a different category than I'm an agency owner and I need to do networking along with everything else that I do. So that's where we're at. And that's what we're talking about. If you want to go be a business development administrative person, then go spend all day on LinkedIn and drink lots of wine at the local meetups. And I don't know. That's what I see some
Well, that
people
sounds like
do.
fun.
Yeah, it seems like,
So
I mean, if you're good at it, it seems like a nice
I
life.
am good at drinking wine.
I think, I
People
mean,
are gonna be like, "This Jake's guy he's got a problem." This is NA. This is 0% whiskey.
no, okay. Now they know.
0.0. Well, they knew at the beginning. I said it.
You did?
Yeah.
I missed it.
Oh,
You're
I
like, do
said
you even
yeah.
listen to me?
Yeah.
I
This is
talk and
0.0%. It tastes like water with cinnamon at the end.
I got
It's like,
that part.
those bubbly drinks that taste like carbonated water, like strawberry on low battery. or something.
Yeah, it's like they wave a watermelon on top of it and they're like, yeah, watermelon water.
So this is that, except it's no carbonation. And it actually does taste like it's like water with like a cinnamon stick that was boiled in it. And then
but it's good. You said it's good.
It's good in a different way. It's not good in a way that like whiskey is good. But it's good in a way that's like it quenches my creative juices when it's late at night and I just like want like to sip on something semi bitter.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just do tea sometimes or water. That's lately anyway.
Tea never has that punch though that whiskey has. I think I just have a problem. We'll get that addressed. All right, everybody.
We'll deal with that.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.